Here's to Main Street, not Wall Street. Here's to being invested in each other. Here's to a return to what matters. Elevations Credit Union. It matters where you bank. Visit us online to see why.
Thanks for coming and showing up. I appreciate it. Do me a favor one more time for those who just came in the room. If you have an empty seat next to you, raise your hand. There are seats available for those who would like to come and grab a seat real quick. Also on the tables, there are power strips. If you want to charge up your mobile device or something, you're welcome to do that as well. Listen, here's what's so cool about this for me. I do this for a living, and so I speak, and I've been really blessed in recent years all across the country and then around the world, in Singapore and Bangkok and London and Antwerp and Buenos Aires and India. I just got back from Dubai. Very cool. We call this geographic name dropping. Am I that much more impressive? Kind of, sort of. And I'm actually here. And what's really cool is I live in Castle Rock. And so I never speak locally. And if I was going to do the concert t-shirt, it would have all those cities in Buenos Aires and Castle Rock or Denver. I've spoken almost 280 times in the last 3 years. And this is my third time in Colorado. As they say, you're never a prophet in your own land. You are an expert because you get off an airplane. And locally, I'm the guy who went to Thomas Jefferson High School. Anybody else? TJ? TJ, no. So this is actually very cool when I get to actually speak and then have dinner with my kids, except tonight I don't because my flight board's at 6:30 tonight for Detroit. So as soon as we're done, I'm going to bolt out of here. If you have an interest, and I normally don't like selling from the stage, but I know we have very small time, I've got some books if anybody's interested in buying a book and getting it signed. They're on the table. These are not free for your table, but just sort of to feel free to look or pass around or something else. And then the other sessions I think are across the way. Mary Kelly is next door this way, another great one for you to go to. Just plug for my friend as well. As interactive as you want it to be, we literally have about 55 minutes, so I kind of want to get through things as fast as I can and give you some ideas. I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you of how you look at yourself and how you market your business. We tend to fall into these traps of highlighting our competence or some of those esoteric, touchy-feely kinds of things, and our quality and our commitment and our trust, and that we really care. Do you really care? Do your customers come first? I don't know what this means. But we all say it, and we say it a little too often, and it makes it very hard for us to truly differentiate. Once again, here's my details for those who didn't write it down before. Feel free to friend me, connect with me on LinkedIn. We're going to talk social media. We'll find 10 minutes towards the end and talk a little specifically about how do we use it effectively to build who we are. Going through once again, just a recap in 60 seconds of what I talked about before, the shift from selling to buying. Nobody sells us things, we go and we buy because we're able to do that research beforehand. How many people before they do a major purchase look it up online first? How many people before you hire somebody and make a final hiring decision, you look them up online first? Better see every hand for this one. You want to find out what they're really like? This is this horrible, cynical view I have of the world. I smile, but it's a cynical view. I tell my teenage daughters, the difference between love and the internet is forever and ever and ever, and that stuff doesn't go away. We can look stuff up online. We can do research online. We can do comparison. We were thinking about buying a house in a particular neighborhood. We look up about the neighborhood. We look at the crime rate. We can look at where all the sex offenders live. Right? We can find everything. So the question is, how do we create that image in people's minds before they actually even know us? Can we become very visible? As much as we would love people to go to our website all the time, oftentimes they find us somewhere else and directs them to the website. I'll talk more about social media and some of those things as well. Once again, your brand is your reputation. What are you known for? And as I like to say, to be well known, you have to be known for something beyond your quality and your commitment and your trust and your caring and the fact that you really listen. Who do you want to be? How do we influence that? Because here's what's really interesting. You don't own your brand. Your brand lives in the minds of other people. If your brand is your reputation, then by definition, your brand lives in other people's minds. We have no control over what other people think. But we have great influence over what they think and when they think about us. Today's session, in the brief 50 minutes or so that we have together, is how do we influence how they think about us? And to be visible so they think about us a little more often as well. Once again, your brand lives in the minds of other people. That floating ball, here's who you are, here's who you want to be. How do we get people to think about us the way we want to be? It doesn't have to be today. But what's missing in that gap between where we are and where we want to be? Once again, good news, bad news. Good news. A lot of ways to do it right. There's a lot of ways to stand out, to raise your profile. There's a lot of really ridiculous ways. We're such a culture obsessed with fame, and we're going to be on, Maury Povich or Jennifer, you are not the mother. Doesn't really make sense. Think about that one for a while. Or it's Kardashian crap or whatever else, but it's a culture, right? It's not just, and one of the other speakers talking about some of the cultural things and some of the younger generations, it's not the area, it's everybody. We're sort of obsessed with all of that. How do we tap into the best parts of that? Not just about being famous, it's about being known for what you want to be known for. I used to ask audiences all the time, I said, who would like to be on the news tonight? Famous tonight. Hands go up and say, good. Take off your clothes, hang from the overpass. Guarantee you'll make the news. Some kind of heinous crime. How do we get to be known the way we want to be known? Of good news, a lot of ways to do it right. The bad news, of course, is every seat that's taken in this room. You're all good. You're all really good. I'm going to play the part of your prospective customer today. Your prospective client. I have so many choices, and they're all good choices. So instead of making the case about the basic things that we tend to claim, that everybody tends to claim and mirror within their business, how can you make a compelling case that you are a better choice than all of the other choices in the marketplace? Because I have so many choices, and I said, they're all good choices. We tend to fall into these traps. For me, it's about language. We fall into the traps of describing who we are and what we do and how we do it. Here's a great exercise to do. Take all of your promotional materials, everything you have written about yourself, your sales sheets, your catalogs, your brochures, your website pages, everything that you have, print everything out and spread it out on a giant conference room table. I'm going to walk around. You'll see my back from time to time, but it makes me feel more intimate with other people who are close by. Spread everything out on a conference room table and then take all of the promotional material for your top 2 or 3 competitors. Because you have all of that, right? All of the promotional materials for your competitors, right? Their sales sheets, their ads, their everything, right? No? Really? Listen, friends, how do you know how to effectively compete against your competitors till you are crystal clear how they are competing against you? We get very myopic in our marketing. We talk about, does someone say, listen, for us it's about a long-term relationship, right? For us, our customers come first. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you my personal cell phone number. 24/7, you have a problem, you give me a call. We forget sometimes, we forget most of the time, that our competitors in this room are sitting there having that exact same conversation with our prospect. For us, we want to build a long-term relationship. This isn't about a simple transaction. For us, our customers, as a matter of fact, I'm going to do something I normally don't do. I'm going to give you my personal cell phone number. You have a problem, you call me directly. Come on. Take all the material, spend the next couple of weeks. We're not crossing any ethical line. Here's what's really cool about your competitors' promotional materials. They give them away for free. It's free. Secret shop them. Pretend to be a prospect. Ask them to send your information. Stop by one of their offices. Go online, print off all the website pages of the competing organizations. Take everything and spread it out on a conference room table and mix it up with yours. Then take a couple of members of your staff or your team. Give everybody highlighters and walk around the table playing buzzword bingo. You will be stunned at how similar, if not identical, their claims are to yours. You're going to see their stuff and you say, see this? Let me see this. Oh my gosh, you see this? Word for word, they plagiarized us. And they would think the same of you because we claim the same things. And I think we can do better. And how do I know, as your prospective customer, how do I know who's better when I'm hearing the same things from everyone? If you're in financial services, do I just go with the person with the grayest hair? If I'm looking for a realtor, do I find the person with the coolest car? They must be successful because they're driving the really good car. Think what's shaping the minds. I had a great conversation earlier today with someone else about, isn't there a pressure among realtors to sort of match what everybody else is doing? I said, probably, but understand what's shaping the minds of your customers today. Now it's the TV shows. Now it's fix and flips and buy and sell Las Vegas and all of these things as well. And they see the big personalities and they see who's winning this deal. And it's are you going to love it or are you going to list it? I've one more listing to show you. Yours. Here's, right? We all know the script. Unlove it or list it. Is she the absolute worst in estimating what it's really going to cost to fix that house? I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to do the kitchen. We have found asbestos in everything. In the mayonnaise jar, there's asbestos. Right. But this is what your clients, this is what you're watching. We all are. So what do we expect? I said it before a few minutes ago. Life is like high school. Business is like high school. We do business with people we like and people we know and people we trust. How do we get them to like us and know us and trust us better? What are things we can do to influence that? Because be very clear about this, and this is a big shift. We used to be able to compete on our quality and our commitment and our trust because there was a discrepancy. There can't be anymore. Those who underperform are outed very, very quickly online and otherwise. I travel extensively. I am when I rent cars, and I rent a lot of cars, it's all Enterprise. That's the company I rent from, is Enterprise. So I got all my points, I'm platinum, and every time when I turn in my car, they say the same thing to me. So how was the Mustang today, Mr. Avrin? How was the Corolla? It was just great. And then they, excuse me, before they hand me the receipt, they ask me the same question. Is there anything we could have done to have made this an outstanding experience for you? You know what they're really saying? Please, God, don't go online and bitch about us. I'm not joking, right? Because then it's too late, because that stuff never goes away. People will look online. They will look you up. Be very clear today. Being very, very, very good at what you do, that's the entry fee. That gives you permission to do business in the marketplace. But anybody can facilitate that transaction. What makes me want to do business with you? Because at the end of the day, if anybody's read Harry Beckwith wrote a great book called Selling the Invisible. It's about selling the promise of what we can do. Unless you're selling a widget, tab A fits in slot B, we're selling the promise of what we can deliver for them. That's about trust. So how do we create that marketable, memorable brand identity? First and foremost, and I know there's a big duh factor to this one, we have to stand out. We have to stand apart. Easier said than done. In a legitimate way. How do we become top of mind? My colleague Seth Godin wrote a great book called Purple Cow. If anybody's read Purple Cow, right? He talks about, by definition, a purple cow is remarkable in the sense that it's worthy of being remarked about, right? How do you not talk about a purple cow? My question for you, put some real thought to this. What do you do so well that you could inspire someone to talk about you to someone else? Beyond your competency. Everybody's competent in this room. What's that one thing? And it can be anything, but it has to be something. It can be a proprietary technology. It can be a unique persona. It can be a certain class of homes or properties that you represent. It can be your dominance within a certain geographic area. It has to be something. As I said, there is no price for second place in sales. What's that one thing that you can own? Here's another way to put it. If you're writing things down, this is a good one. To what question are you the answer? I'll say it again and I'll explain. To what question are you the answer? In other words, what question could I ask that would elicit your name as the response? I'm really struggling with blank. How do I best do blank? Have you ever worked with Buzz Peterson? Rock star. He's so good at this. What is it that would elicit your name? I'll give you some examples. If I was going to ask you, I'm looking to buy a car. I really want a safe car for my family. What's the safest car? Shout it out. Volvo. Volvo owns safety. Volvo is the safe car. Don't argue that Tesla won some. It's Volvo. It's the upper middle class, white, suburban, Connecticut dad car. Right? Isn't that the thing that comes to mind? Now people tell me, oh no, you haven't ridden. I mean, the commercial's running around nowadays, right? Imagine Volvo is driving with his 2.5 children. Now, reimagine it. It's a freaking rocket ship. It's unbelievable. I actually rented one because somebody challenged me. It's unbelievable. I would never buy it. And I apologize to anybody who drives a Volvo. It's an awesome car. It's just not my brand. It's not who I want to be in the marketplace. And for those of you who are very image and maybe status conscious, it's the same thing as well. But Volvo owns safety in your mind. If I was going to ask you, department stores, where do you get the best customer service? What is it? It's Nordstrom. Nordstrom owns customer service. As I said in the previous presentation, right, that's where you're going. Nordstrom knows where they're going. They know who they want to be. They have aligned everything to foster that in your mind. Their training, their behavior, they got strong supply chains, strong operations, but everything you see is to create an image in your mind of the best customer service. They train their people. They empower the people on the front line to solve problems. You hear social media, great use of social media. Somebody brought them a suit at 2 in the morning. Right? They also said, what do we need to do structurally? What can we do that nobody else is doing? We all know, and they know that you can take anything back at Nordstrom, right? There's a cost to that. It's small. You know what that cost is? They're going to take a certain amount of prom dresses back the day after prom. Right? Oh, it didn't fit? Oh, I'm so sorry. How was prom? I'm sure you were lovely. Let's just hang that up back here. You know what? It cost them nothing. But they've created it. Anybody, I do a lot of hotels. I'm a Hilton guy. So everybody within the Hilton family, and it's Doubletree and Hilton Garden Inn. But Hampton Inn, sometimes I'm at a Hampton Inn. Anybody been to a Hampton Inn lately? All right, Hampton Inn, if you remember, has, because they're a total commodity, right? They're a clean, comfortable room. You can get that anywhere. Why would you choose them? On the headboard, there's a little yellow sticky note. Who knows what it says? It looks handwritten, but it's not. It reminds you that the duvet cover is washed in every room every day, the bedspread, right? So if cleanliness is your issue, we've seen the John Stossel reports, the black light and the various bodily fluids strewn about your room. I'm just saying, you are sitting on DNA. It's bad. But if cleanliness is important to you, they're the best choice, right? In a sea of good choices, because you know they're doing something different that nobody else is doing. What can you be known for? What's that one thing where you can come to mind? And it doesn't have to be today. Leave this conference and think deeply. What can we do that nobody else is doing? What problem can we solve that nobody else is solving? Listen, the obvious answers you've already come up with. This requires a little bit of a deeper dive. And it's worth it. It's so worth it. What category can you own? It's not about, like I said, it's not about market share. It's about mind share. How do you own something in the minds of your prospect? I think, you might have heard this before. I didn't originate it, but I wholeheartedly subscribe to the notion. I think there's a mistaken belief that everybody's looking to make the best decision possible in purchasing and hiring and contracting. I think in reality, we're all looking to avoid making a bad decision. I don't want to screw this up. It's not that we're looking for the lowest common denominator. Everybody tells me they're good. Everybody tells me they can find me the house of my dream or sell my house for me. How do I know? So I assume everybody's good. Price is fairly comparable in terms of commission structure. I think the real level of criteria that I'm using is who do I trust to not screw this up? This is hugely important to me. You know that you're not selling widgets, you're not selling hot dogs. You're helping people buy and sell the most important and significant purchase of their life. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. It is scary as crap. I need to know that you're not going to screw this up. So how do you foster, for me, a sense of confidence? Part of it is just the interaction, right? That level of authenticity. What is it that we can do to be that special? Is this a sore subject? Is that like a, let's close? What was that commercial? You guys not seen this commercial? I think it's very, kind of mocks you guys a little bit, but it's kind of funny. But I think in the minds of many, it's sort of the same, how do you stand out? I think the way we do it, let me go back, sorry, is to position ourselves as a specialist. Not necessarily for everybody, but for most of you. A lot of good choices. The specialist, by definition, is a safer choice. This is what we do. If you have mega behemoths that you compete against, it's sort of a great strategy within business and marketing and sales in general. And I'm one of these people that I believe that we've got to call out competitors I never trash competitors, ever, ever, ever. I like saying really nice things, but it's the elephant in the room. They know that there's other choices. They can do a for sale by owner. They can do a lot of other choices. Well, why you? I like talking about the alternatives. A great sales strategy, talk about a behemoth competitor. Say 4 or 5 things that they do really, really well that you know your prospect doesn't need. Oh, they're phenomenal if you need this and this and this, but this is all we do. Well, that's what I need. I think we're a better choice. Or we specialize in this geographic area or within this particular category. It just is a safer choice. I tell a story in the book, and I'm not pushing the book here, but about this web development firm in Santa Barbara, California called Oniricom. And Oniricom is like these 20-something artsy-fartsy guys in their goatees and their MacBook Pros, and they're doing websites and social media for musicians and rock bands. That's their niche in the marketplace. So if you know the names, they do all the social media and websites and everything for Lenny Kravitz and Jack Johnson and John Legend and all these guys. This is what they do. They take a month off and go follow Fish or their favorite band and everything else. So imagine I'm a music producer. I got a really cool, hot new band. I can go to hundreds of thousands of web developers. And could you do a really cool website for my group? Absolutely. Well, could you do all that cool social media, plug it? Yes. I mean, no matter what I say, the answer is yes. And most of them could do a really great job. But I talk to these guys at Oniricom, and they smile and they say, this is what we do. We specialize in this industry. Here's a portfolio of clients we've worked for. Are they a safer choice? Of course they are. What can you do to be that safer choice? Because I think it comes down to this. The most important thing I'm going to say here today. The 4 most dangerous words in business are all things being equal. Right? All things being equal, in purchasing anything, when everything's the same, we shop based on what? Price. That's it. It's a definition of commodity. Everybody's good. Everybody can do it. If you're getting hammered on your commission, and I know it's happening more and more, you get hammered on price, you get hammered on commission, whether it's the price of the house or something else, it's just because your prospect doesn't see a meaningful differentiation between you and your competitor. Anybody can do it. Let's see who we can hammer down with a lower commission. And it doesn't mean that price is unimportant. You might have heard trainers or speakers say, if you do X and Y, price is no longer an issue. That is such crap. Complete and utter crap. Price is always an issue, always will be. But provided you're priced competitively, then price isn't the issue. Even if you're a premium product or service, priced in line with other premiums, give me something. Give me a reason to trust you more. The good news is you're never the same. All things are never equal. You bring different attitudes and training and persona and hygiene and location and specialization. We're all different, but the words we use to describe what we do are eerily similar. As I joke, we fall into these traps because we've all been to the same conferences. I don't want all of you walking out of here doing it the same way because I'm just going to challenge you on how you do it. We'll talk about some ideas, but you heard before, marketing is not a department. It's not to say you don't have a marketing department. It's the recognition and realization that marketing happens at every level of your organization, every conversation, every time. I'm not talking about how does your receptionist answer the phone, your manager of first impressions. That's customer service. You already know that. I'm saying what are the words that work? What are the words if I'm your prospect and I am your ideal prospect? What are the words that are going to work that are going to make me say, that's what I've been looking for. That's what I've been looking for. Let me ask you this. Do you not, as a professional, and we're all professional service providers, do you not convert the lion's share of prospects you can get in front of? If you can get face-to-face, if you can get a chance to meet with them at their home or meet in a coffee shop and actually talk to you and they have an actual pending project, buying or selling, can't we convert most of those? Right? So isn't, for you, the biggest challenge in professional service providers, attorneys, financial planners, insurance salespeople, it's the same thing. It's how do we find those prospects? How do we ask yourself the question, what are the things that are working? What are the things that are not working? Like I said, go to Mary's session afterwards. You'll get some great ideas. But what are the words that work? That get somebody to say, that one behavior that you really want. And let me sort of lift the curtain a little bit. I'm not pushing my business, but I'll tell you how I work. I speak for a living. This is what I do. I'm all over the country. I'm all over the world. For my staff back in my office in Castle Rock, We know our major leading indicator. Our leading indicator is if we can get somebody to go to my website, a meeting planner, somebody who's hiring speakers for an event, to go to my website and click on the video in the center of my home screen. Don't have to go through it, it's just right in the center of my home screen. If they click on that video, it's 12 minutes of me speaking all over the world. If they click on that video, I got a good shot of getting the gig. If they don't click on that video, I have zero shot. Nobody's going to hire a speaker they haven't watched speak. So when we have an idea among my team, my staff, and my office, we ask the question, okay, it's a great idea. Is it more likely to get people, meeting planners, to my site to click on that video? If it isn't, we don't do it. This is all about getting to, yes, you want listings. Yes, you want to be able to get those commissions. But the question is, what's the one thing you want to do that's going to lead to that? In most cases, getting them to agree to let you buy them a cup of coffee or to have that meeting. So what are the things you can do to get them to do that one thing you want them to do? Marketing is not a department, it's a function of everything we say. Who in your organization, who among your colleagues do you really admire? Who's really good at this? Who's really good at the spiel of talking through, not being, the white belt and white shoes, saying, what's it going to take to get you in this house? That's not who we want to be, right? It's authenticity. How do we get people to like us and trust us? So what are the words that really work? Because words have meaning. They can be powerful. They can be meaningless. They can be confusing. Sometimes we get a little caught up in our vernacular or language because we live in this world a little too much. So last year, my former wife is in the kitchen. She's making dinner. It's Saturday morning. She's going to make dinner for all the people in our cul-de-sac. And she sends me to the grocery store with a shopping list. Saturday morning, I pile the kids in the car. We're pulling out of the driveway. And she runs out. She goes, whoa, wait, one more thing I forgot. On the list, can you pick up some fresh margarine? I said, absolutely. Go to the store, buy everything, come back. We put the bag on the counter. And she's pulling stuff out of the bag. And she says, what is this? I said, this is margarine. And she goes, no, not margarine, marjoram. Did you not hear me? I said marjoram. And of course I'm thinking, what is marjoram? All right, help me out here. Raise your hand if you do not know what marjoram is. Thank you very much. The rest of you are laughing at us, aren't you? And I said, what is marjoram? She says, oh my God. She says, you are 51 years old. You don't know what marjoram is? And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, he cannot be 51 years old. I know, right? And I said, what is marjoram? She goes, it's an herb. It's like oregano, but sweeter. I said, I have never heard of this. Never in my life. She goes, all right, so let me get this straight. So I sent you to the grocery store to pick up some fresh marjoram. What'd you do, buy margarine and look at the expiration date? I was like, yes, I did. Got back in the... Listen, here's the point. It's not about dumbing down the language. It's about being crystal clear in what we do. There are sales trainers who will say, so say something outrageous. Like, so what do? I help homeowners climb to the top of Mount Everest. Well, what does that mean? Oh, I help them find their dreams and live there. It's like, shut up. Seriously. How about we just say the truth of who we are, what we do? We don't need to be pithy and clever, because there's legitimate sales trainers who, this is their philosophy. You say something outrageous and they say, what does that mean? Now you're in a conversation. Ugh. All right, he's going to take a picture. I'm going to look good. I know, right? Bigger hand. Okay. Serious. That's the old KG Men's Store pose. Got to look at the watch. So listen, how do we do it in a way that's crystal clear without falling into traps? Because here's the traps that we fall into. I ask companies all the time, what makes you different? Why you? What do you think the number one answer is? Just give me number one. Number one, what do you think? We care. What else? Taking pictures of the finger. Here's the number one answer. It's the people. At the end of the day, it's about the people, isn't it? Don't your people bear a striking resemblance to the people who work for your competitors? We got to stop pretending that our people are a competitive advantage. Seriously. Were your people raised on some special customer service island? where they were guarded from. It's just stupid. I spoke to a group and the guy in the back, honest to God, he says, what if you got Oompa Loompas? Little Willy Wonka. Yes, if you have Oompa Loompas, your people probably make a difference. You probably have significant HR issues as well. But here's the point. We got to stop boasting that we have better people than other people. Our people care more than other people. Nobody believes it. Now, let me throw a caveat out there for you. First of all, hire well, hire slowly, train your people, hold them accountable, reward great behavior, and they will retain your best customers and clients, no doubt. Just stop telling me that your people are better. Here's the caveat to that rule. Specificity leads to credibility. The more specific the claim, the more credible the claim. You can say, our people just care more. I don't believe it. But you say, we have more ASJ certified whatever profession than all of our competitors combined. Guess what? Your people make the difference. Our CEO wrote the textbook that trained 80% of the people in our industry. Your people make the difference. You got to give me specifics to make it happen. Here's the problem. Anybody in professional service, this is what we get. Honesty, integrity, and trust. At First National, we believe, right? What are we doing? We're claiming how honest we are? We're telling you that we have greater integrity, really, the words. So, I mean, ladies, how does that work for you? Okay, here's an example. So, Miss, you and I are on a date. You look very attractive tonight. I want to be very clear at the beginning. I'm an honest person. I'm not a cheater because I'm not going to cheat. I think cheating is bad, and I think honesty is the most important because I'm going to be very honest and not cheat. Is this creepy as hell? I'm thinking this is going really well. She's been in the restroom a long time, though. I hope she's okay back there. She's gone. All this is sort of that, once again, competency. I lead strategic planning retreats. I get this all the time. We need to make a statement of really by telling me how honest you are. This is your big statement. This one we get all the time. Let me ask you this. Do your clients come first? I don't know what this means. Before what? Before profit? Before lunch? It's kind of dumb. Oh, here's a great one, and this is going to bother some people. This is a good pose, isn't it? Emphatic, big. You can see that. I saw this on the internet, so it must be true, because it was on the internet. The most overused and least effective word in modern marketing, the least effective word in modern marketing, is passion. See what it's like to do business with people who are passionate about real estate, who are passionate about trucking, who are passionate about sandwiches. I mean, have passion, follow your passion. Most of your companies wouldn't exist if somebody didn't have a measure of passion. I got it. Just stop telling me how passionate you are. And this is the one I mentioned before. I spoke this summer. I had the great privilege of speaking for an organization called the $1 Million Roundtable. And unlike its name, it is not small. It was 9,500 insurance professionals from all over the world in Toronto. And I'm like, look at this room. Everybody's good. Why you? I said, please, God, don't tell me. It's because we really listen to our clients. And we tailor our solutions to meet their individual needs. Really? That's your differentiator? You're going to listen to me? Should this not be a given? We take a different approach. We largely ignore our clients, but we impose our solutions often violently. Right? You tell me how many years of combined experience you have in your office? Over 350 years of combined experience? Don't do this. First of all, we know it's just you trying to look bigger than you are. Anybody can do it. One person in your staff makes it a little bit different. The real reason why you don't ever do this is when you use this tactic, the next three things you say go completely unheard. Do you know why? They're doing math. Does that mean they've got 6 people who've been there for 50 years and then like 40 people who've been there for a year and then one other, what if they got one really old guy like is 120 and then 100 people who are this. Meanwhile, you're jabbering on. Just dumb. Don't do this. Listen, your competency is not your value proposition. Being really, really, really good at what you do is the entry fee. We have to promote something different, something that I care about. Those people who take your mission statement off your websites. That's an internal document. It doesn't mean anything to me. The question is, what is meaningful to me? Here's a great exercise that I would encourage you to do back at your office. This is really It can be profoundly telling. Create a top 10 list. A list of the 10 statements and claims that you can make about your business and your approach and your experience. 10 things that if I knew and remembered and believed those 10 things, I would do business with you. But there's a rule to this exercise. Number one, you cannot list your qualifications and competencies. That's a given. That already has to be on your website or your promotional materials, whatever else. That's just credibility to provide the standing to do what you do. I'm looking for differentiators. The second thing is don't give me your pithy slogans and taglines. We do blank and blank so you can blank and blank. If it works really well embroidered on a pillow in the lobby of your business, don't say it out loud. Just put it on your... There's a place for a good slogan and tagline, not in this exercise. I want something that says, we're the only company that does this. We're the only ones who do this approach. Listen, there's a lot of slides, I know it. At the very end, if you want to come up here and throw your business card on the stage, I will send you all of this. And I will also put you on my mailing list. Mary Kelly said before, you want to sign up. You can unsubscribe anytime you want. You won't, because it's really funny. It's good stuff. But I model what I preach. But through a business card, I will send you all of this as well. Those action verbs, the passive verb is the one that says, we offer, we provide. I want to know, what did you pioneer? We created, we discovered a new way of doing what we do. Now, I understand it's basically about nuance here. There's something so ridiculously outside the realm of what we would expect from a real estate professional. It's hard for you to be taken seriously. I got that. But what's that thing that you can do or claim that nobody else is saying? Maybe it's calling out offenses of the industry. Listen, for 100 years it's been done this way. We take a different approach. What are those things that you can say that if you knew and remembered and believed they would do business with you, those honors? Listen, we were named as one of the top 20 for the last 4 years in a row. Media, perhaps you saw us in last month's Denver Business Journal or whatever else as well. Now, I understand that many of these things might mirror what your colleagues might have as well, but if we spend the time and do a deep dive, because here's the reality, whether it was you or somebody else who started your business, you have likely spent years, if not decades, building your expertise, building your reputation, building your track record. Some people have spent millions of dollars building infrastructure and their team, but I guarantee you most people in this room have spent minutes crafting the words you use to describe what you do. Minutes. Some clever, pithy slogan, oh, that's it. Because we sell Boulder, or something, and oh my God, that's it. The people are going to flock to us, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work because everybody's good. Here's a great exercise to facilitate with your team. If you work with a team in your office, get a flip chart and say, listen, I want to spend 20 minutes. How do we really differentiate? How do we do something different? And the rule in facilitation is you got to write everything down or you shut down the room. You can't be like, all right, so give me an idea and give them the rules, right? I don't want your pithy slogans and I don't want a list of your qualifications. What do we do better than everyone else? And you're like, Jennifer. Okay, good, I like that. Pete. Perfect. Good, I like that. Chad. No. Anyone else? Can't do that. People aren't going to raise their hand. So you write everything down, pare it down to the best 10. Then here's where it gets really hard. Reduce it down to the best 5. Things you would say verbally. That's the other rule for this. The things you would say verbally to somebody in a presentation, on the phone. 5 things. If you walk out of this conference and you know 2 really good ones, you're ahead of the game. 5 things. If they knew and remembered and believed they would do business with you, craft them, refine them, make them repeatable. Then type it up, shrink it down, laminate it. Don't put it in your wallet. Stick it to every phone in your office. And the rule is nobody gets off the phone until you've said 3 of those 5 things. Every conversation, every time, I don't care if it's the wrong number, you're going to say 3 of those 5 things. Because we're going to drive the narrative. We're going to decide how people describe us so we can be that in their minds. Instead of hoping they think about us the way we decide who we want to be. We craft language that says this is who we are. And we work those neural pathways and we get used to saying them again and again and again. It's like, remember when you used to listen to, I almost said records. Ask your mom what a record is, she'll tell you. records or CDs. Remember when a song got over and we knew what this next song was going to be before it started? We'd start playing in our mind because we've gone down those neural pathways. If you grew up in Southern California, you know how cheap Earl Scheibel paint a car. If you grew up in Denver, you know where the Shane Company is, don't you? It's just off Arapahoe Road on Emporia Street, 1/2 mile east of I-25. Open every night, Monday through Friday till 8, Saturday and Sunday till 5, and online at shaneco.com. Exactly right. I've never been there, but I know when they're open because I've heard it so many damn times. You know where Medved is, don't you? Cadillac style, your style, Medved style. On I-70 Wheat Ridge, exit Kipling, exit Ward, but exit the new Medved Cadillac at the giant Medved Autoplex. Yes, I used to do those commercials way back when. But because we've heard them so many times, we can do it. I think we can play on that same dynamic. Find the best things that we can say, make sure that everybody's saying it. Help our people understand, what does it cost to screw this up? Can we talk to a prospect and help them recognize? We sort of the cynical view of my profession as a speaker, we say, our job is to help our audiences understand the pain, whether they knew they had it or not. Rip open the wound, pour a little salt on it, and offer ourselves as the... Can we make them a little bit worried about working with somebody else who doesn't have the experience that we do, doesn't understand the geographic neighborhood that we're working in, an online resource maybe that's unproven? This is a big purchase. This is a big transaction. Do not screw this up. All right. In the 10 minutes I have left, none of this means much of anything if we are not visible. That is my moniker. I am the visibility coach. That's my website, visibilitycoach.com, because I think visibility drives everything. It drives opportunities. It drives partnerships. Your biggest challenge in business is not your competitor. It's anonymity. If they don't know who you are, they can't buy what you're selling. If they don't remember who you are, you're not even on the short list. We have to stay in front of them often and always. You think about your target audience. We used to be able to talk about our target audience was our customers and our prospective customers, right? It's a different world anymore. There is no such thing as the general public. It used to be, Murphy, write a press release. We're going to get this out there, wherever there is. I have no idea. Right? Now we have vendors that we need to communicate with, and employees and our professional associations. The news media is a phenomenal audience because they can broadcast our message. Are you writing articles? What are some of the professions maybe that are highly in transition in terms of relocation? Can you write an article, the top 5 mistakes that people make when moving to a mountain community, the top 10 whatever else? They love this stuff. They're dying for content. I write articles all the time. All of a sudden, my staff calls and they say, we work with David Avrin, an internationally renowned marketing and branding expert. The minute I hit Canada and somebody liked me in Canada, I was internationally renowned. Just saying. If somebody likes you in another country, you are internationally renowned. Bank on it. And they say, he'd love to write a custom article for you. All of a sudden, I hit 40,000 people. It takes me an hour. I write an article. I hit 40,000 people in the bridal and prom industry, or 30,000 people in the pet food industry. And I'm visible. And then we call them. Perhaps you saw my article in last month's Painful Rectal Itch Monthly or whatever. I don't know. There's something for everybody. It's quarterly now, I think. I don't know. Are we out there? Are we visible? Let's talk social media. How many people are using social media to some extent to build their business? Let's see hands. All right, hands back down. How many people are successfully using social media to build their business? Let's see hands. There's some. That's not bad. Most aren't. You know why? Because we tend to treat social media like traditional marketing. And it's not. It's different. You hear people say it's a conversation. Well, let me tell you about how do we do that. When we treat it like traditional marketing, anytime there's a new medium that reaches people, it's immediately overtaken by unwelcome voices. It's sales, it's porn, it's the things that sort of intrude on your life. Did I put sales and porn in the same sentence? I did, because it's not welcome. We learned a long time ago with our TV, we just click away. And now we just click away like this. You clicking on a lot of banner ads lately? We love those banner ads? Of course not. It's got to be something welcome. Here's the profound rule of social media, traditional marketing. Social media doesn't matter. You ready to write this down? It sounds simple, but it is really, really profound. If you want people to be interested, you have to be interesting. And I'm not joking. There's no shortage of sites. People say, you got to blog every day, you got to be online. You know, it's not about being online, it's about being interesting online. I get the question all the time. How do you get something to go viral? I say it's very complicated. Post something online that's so interesting someone would actually pass it on to somebody else. And they say, no, really? And I say, no, really. That's it. If you want people to be interested, you have to be interesting. Look at all the different options. It's almost overwhelming. If you have visually oriented, Pinterest should be a must for everybody in this room. Pictures of properties you're working with. YouTube, of course, is we'll talk about YouTube in a second. LinkedIn, you don't exist if you're not on LinkedIn. You got to at least have a profile. LinkedIn is not Facebook for business people. It's a search tool. How often do you use LinkedIn to find somebody to connect with? When I travel, and I do a lot of international travel, everywhere I go, I do a LinkedIn search 3 or 4 months ahead of time. I was heading to Melbourne, Australia, speaking for the Australian Financial Advisors. I go to LinkedIn, upper right-hand corner, click Advanced Search. I put in the search criteria, looking for meeting planners, speakers, bureaus, the people who hire me, within 100 kilometers of Melbourne, Australia. 45 people come up. I send them a note. I'm going to be in Melbourne on these dates in October. My flight and hotel are already paid for. I'm going to give you a great internationally renowned marketing speaker at a discounted rate. I picked up 4 gigs. 2 of them actually paid. It was even nicer. But I was going to be there anyway. Do you take advantage of proximity? When I'm in India, when I'm in Dubai, my calendar is full with people who I take advantage of proximity. When you travel, do you find somebody to meet with? The real opportunity, the big one, I think it's YouTube. YouTube, video. Do you know it's the second biggest search engine in the world? Number 1, of course, is Google. Number 2 is YouTube. Videos of you talking about what you do and why you do it. And what you're passionate about without using the word passion. Tours of the properties that you're working with. It just makes you human. It makes you real. And the good news, it doesn't have to be perfect. I have so much content online. I go everywhere, and I have my little thing. I was, like I said, recently in Dubai. I take my little camera and I stick it on a ledge. Hi, David Avrin, the visibility coach. Here I am in Dubai, the world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa, 200 stories, 57 elevators. It is impossible to ignore. And I do a cool little marketing message. Anyway, having a great time. I think I might go skiing this afternoon, or I might go to TGI Fridays. It's all available in Dubai. David Avrin, the visibility coach, reminding you, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. And I take that and I pop it in and I upload it. She mentioned before Fiverr, right? The website, fiverr.com. I have these little videos, little video intro. You go on YouTube. I challenge anybody, anywhere in the world, because it's the internet. Go on YouTube and type in marketing speaker. I'm number 1. In the world, you type in marketing speakers. I'm number 1. Not because I'm the greatest marketing speaker in the world. Debatable. Feel free to argue. No, seriously. It's just because I have content. I'm findable. Are you findable online? Social media is a great way to humanize yourself. I have almost 5,000 friends on Facebook, and like I said before, and by friends I mean people I don't know, but people who feel they know me. But I post something business related on Facebook, nobody cares. There's this eerie silence. You can hear crickets chirping, but I post a clip of my daughter singing in her school production of Oklahoma, it lights up. I put funny things about my travels, it lights up. Follow me on Facebook. You'll see the strategy. People try and post something political or get in an argument. I delete that crap right off of there and they send me a private message. Oh, you don't believe in free speech? Not on my site. I'm not going to put a bumper sticker on your car. Guard that Facebook page. Decide, as I said before, decide who you want to be. Everything you post online supports that. Your persona, the things that humanize you, that says who you are, that says, I like that person, I want to do business with that person. Social media is that great opportunity. If you post something online and you get no response, post something else. Be appropriate. Be the best you can be. Social media can be so valuable for that. Here's the key with social media. Don't sell. Share. There's enough other times people do business with people they like and people they trust. Social media is a great way for them to know you better, so they like you better, so they trust you better. Don't ignore this. If you don't know how to do it, hire some propeller head off Craigslist. But once again, every time you post something, my friend Sima Dahl has a great, she talks on social media, has a great line that says, every time you're about to post something online, ask yourself the question, is it more likely to be deleted or shared? Don't we delete most of what we get? Anybody not get enough newsletters or e-zines? I delete all that crap anyway because it's too much. As we said before, it's the referrals. A couple of minutes left. Are we asking for referrals? We see that all the time. The greatest compliment I could ever receive is a referral from a satisfied customer. If I'm happy with what I get, I'm more than happy to offer those referrals. But like Mary Kelly said, are we incentivizing the referrals? The behavior that is recognized and rewarded is the behavior that is repeated. Outside the industry, somebody gives you a referral, do not give them a Starbucks gift card for something that's going to make you $8,000 or $10,000. I give a gift basket so big it doesn't fit in the back of their car. You think they're going to think about me next time? It's hard out there. In sales, there is no prize for second place. Do you have a newsletter? Do you have an e-zine? Anybody not get enough e-zines or newsletters? Once again, we delete most of the crap that we have. I was being very self-indulgent for a while, and I was sending out what I thought were these long articles, and nobody cared. I did a Survey Monkey, found out what they really wanted, and now I do stuff that more echoes the humor. Tangible, great tactics and tips, but a lot of humor and stupid social media and fun videos. Once again, throw a business card on the end, at the end right up here, and I will send you all of this information. Remind people that you're here. Take yourself in the back of their mind to the front of their mind. This is a decision they don't make very often in their lives. You want to be top of mind when they're ready to buy. This is huge. All right, how do we do it? Stand out, stand apart. Be very clear what your competitors are doing. Do something different. Analyze the words you're using and do a side-by-side comparison. Work with your team and create that top 10 list. Reduce it to 5. Be visible. Time's up. One quick story and I'm all done. This is my daughter, Sydney. Isn't she the cutest thing? Sydney went to preschool at the big church near our house just south of Denver here in Highlands Ranch. And because I work out of my house, I get to have breakfast with my kids. And so it's noon on a Tuesday. I'm taking Sydney to school. She did the afternoon session. We pull in to the church parking lot. Unexpectedly, it is jam-packed with cars. There's nowhere to park anywhere. We're going up and down the aisles. There's limousines in the circle drive. Sydney unbuckles from the back seat and she's like, Dad, are they having church today on a Tuesday? I said, no, sweetheart, I think it's a funeral today. Looks like somebody very popular. And Sydney says, what's a funeral? I said, honey, a funeral is for when somebody dies. And all the people that know them and love them, they gather together at their church or at their synagogue, and they go up on stage, and they kind of talk to everybody in the audience. They talk about how much they like them, and how much they love them, and how special they were, and what a wonderful and special person that they were in their heart. Sydney looks very confused. And she looks at me and she says, and then they kill them? I'm like, no, sweetheart, no. This is for people who already died earlier. This is not a human sacrifice. Very relieved. She kisses me on the cheek and she scampers off to class. I sat in the parking lot just laughing. Absolutely true story, every word of it. How many people with kids? Everybody have kids? Is it not the cutest thing in the world as they discover their world for the first time? Of course she doesn't know what a funeral is. How does she know what a funeral is until she knows what a funeral is? And that's what I would ask you about your business. How do they know? Not that you're capable and qualified and competent and stylish and a good choice, but how do they know that you're a better choice than all of those other capable and qualified and stylish people until we do a deep dive? Make sense? You got 10 minutes to get to the next one. I've got some books up here. They're just $20. If you want to throw a 20, grab a book. Get to the next one. Go to Mary Kelly. She's really good. Thank you for coming to my session. I really appreciate it.